Well, welcome back to the Frugal Gardener's Garden. Man, oh man, there's a lot going on. There's a lot that has been going on over the last couple of weeks. I had to take extra time to kind of decide what to show you guys today because, like I said, there's a lot going on. I have a couple of things starting to come out of the ground now. So what's going to happen today is I'm going to do a quick review of a video I did last year of how to grow sweet potato slips because the prices are outrageous. Last time I checked, it was like 25 bucks for like 10 slips, which is not going to happen when I bought this whole bag for about $4 and something. At the end of this video, if you guys stick with me, it's going to be the big reveal. I was going to say the final reveal, but actually I have something else coming that I was not originally planning on using. There's going to be another addition to my mini food forest. So I'm going to show you guys what this is at the end of the video. And I have some information for you that I promised you guys in the previous video, which is about how to find out which chemicals are in your water system, in your municipality, your city, your area where you live. So, wow, where do I start? I'm going to start here. These are my beans. It's one part of my beans. These are my pole beans, which I'm happy to see these are starting to come up. And I'm a little bit surprised because these are the same beans and this is just starting to come up. We had some weather issues. It's kind of frustrating, especially when you're trying to get a lot to do. Keep in mind, it's not just this garden. I'm keeping the other gardens. I'm keeping the other raised beds. I'm keeping everything that I had before. This is just in addition to. Over here was the garden that I used last year, and I'll show you what's going on over there in a minute. But all of these are in play. Exhibit A. Here's the spinach finally coming up that I planted. Well, let me see. What is that? 4/15, I can't see the date on that, but that was a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I just showed you guys the pole beans and going down this way. I'm not going to go to each and every one of these. I just wanted to give you guys like a quick update. So let me show you what else is going on before we get to the main attraction. So here's an update on the radishes. These radishes are about 3 weeks old. So in another week or so, they're going to be ready for harvest. I've shown you guys the mint, and my buddy Keisha H gave me some good advice. She told me I needed to start dividing these up. I need to start getting some of these out of here because it's overcrowded and the roots are going to start to strangle each other and it's not going to end well. So I'm going to take her advice and I'm going to get those sorted out. But there's so much going on right now, that's going to have to wait for a minute, but I'll get around to it. Check this out. You remember the Kennebec potatoes that I planted, well, 4/15. So 2.5 weeks ago, and you can see them starting to sprout here, here, and especially here, and over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of these are doing well. This is my pride and joy at the moment. This is my peach tree that lived in this pot for 2 years. It outstayed its welcome. Actually grew through the pot. Somewhere in here, you'll see there's a big old hole right there. And here it is. This is the Bello, Georgia. Only cost me 20 bucks. And look at it now. I suspect that by the end of this year, it's going to be a good 4 or 5 feet. And maybe next year, I will have some peaches. So I mentioned this a minute ago. And like I said, before we go on to, there's actually 2 things I want to talk to you guys about. Not just the review of the growing the slips, but also the new project, which is special to me, which is going to be how to grow lots of tomatoes inside a bucket, technically inside 2 buckets. This is new. The raised bed, the raised bed is not new, but I put a lot of effort into here. This was full of weeds last year, and as you can see, the weeds are gone. And I planted 24 strawberry plants in here, which are in desperate need of water. This weather has been a pain in the you-know-what. If we had freeze warnings for the last, well, not last night, but the 2 nights before, and now the day is supposed to be in the upper 70s. You can see some of these are starting to actually respond to being in the soil. I got these in right away the very next day. And these, trust me, these will definitely be watered before I go in today. Behind me, give you guys updates on my wheat. Well, it's pretty obvious that this bed needs a lot of work. I got a lot of the old dead leaves and plant matter out, but if you can tell from looking at the corners here that it needs quite a bit of soil. Look at the walls. So in order to save money, I added this monstrosity here. I'm going to take a lot of the soil from here because I want to move this to the new garden over here anyway. So I'm going to take this soil, add in here, this soil, add it in here. I'm also going to introduce some straw in here. This goes to the method I was explaining to you guys in the previous video. So I'm going to add some straw. I'm going to add some of this horse manure that's behind me. Then I'm going to add in some more soil, and then I can plant the strawberries. So now it's probably a good time to tell you guys that this is a bit overkill for strawberries. Is the straw necessary? No. Why am I adding the straw? I'm adding the straw, for those of you who did not watch the previous video, I'm adding this straw because I want to try and add some extra moisture, or should I say retain moisture, in this small bed, because things are going to heat up. And the reason why I'm adding this topsoil and I'm adding this cow manure to the horse manure that I already put underneath the straw, because I don't plan on doing a lot with this garden bed this summer. I have my hands full with this 40-foot garden over here. So once I get all this the way I want it, get it up to speed, I'm not going to be over here as much. And so this all this effort I'm putting into this now is so that I don't have to deal with a lot of it later on. Yes, I probably did not have to use as much compost, but I want to make sure that I get an abundance of strawberries in my harvest this year. So I'm going to finish up. Now I laid these out ahead of time to get an idea of how many I can get in here. These are approximately 8 inches apart. One of the things that I wanted to stress, to bring home to you guys, is you cannot let these sit in the container. This is the reason why I'm going to stop buying these from the big box stores, because they sit and sit and sit, and by the time you get them, they are dried out. You can look at these and see that these are healthy. They've already started to grow, and I got these less than 24 hours ago. And the first thing you need to do is get some moisture on them. Do not let them dry out. I cannot emphasize that too much. So now that I have these laid out, I'm a little concerned that I might have them a little too close together, but we'll see. I mean, I can always take a few out, but I'm getting close to the end of this project. I'm going to put these in the ground right where the crown is, and then I'll water them, label them, and that'll be it. I stopped working on this in order to film this video because it's late. I did not get a video out last week, well, last Thursday. The last video I put out was a week ago, and this is part of the reason why. Well, part of it was weather related, and part of it was because you may or may not recognize this. This is the first time I'm showing you guys this. I'm going to do a video on this fence, but this is my predator proofing solution. This bed here was actually worse than the bed that I showed you guys earlier. Not sure if you remember, it's been a while. It's been what, 4 or 5, 6 months. This thing was covered in weeds. I mean, weeds like a couple of feet tall. And to refresh your memory, I covered this with plastic, this plastic over here. I covered this with, you'll still see I haven't really cleaned up some of the cardboard. The basic idea was to block the light. It was successful. I'm not surprised, I've done this before. Now it's low on soil. I'm going to keep you guys in suspense. I'm not going to tell you what I'm planting in here this year. I still have a couple of, I believe, elephant garlic left over from last year. Let's see if that springs back. If it doesn't, it's no biggie. The thing is, last year, I planted sweet potatoes in here. Year before that, I planted potatoes in here. So I'll tell you what, I'm not going to plant either of those this year. It's something that even kind of surprised me because I had been going back and forth on it, and I've finally decided what I'm going to use this for. And before this week is out, I'm going to have all this soil and this compost, drag that up here and get this all situated. And once it's situated and planted, I'll tell you guys what it is. Okay, so we're going to move on to preparing you guys to grow dozens and dozens of tomatoes all summer long. That's going to be continued in the next video. And we're going to do the refresher right now on the sweet potato slips. So for years, this is how I grew my slips. You get a mason jar or something similar to a mason jar, and you fill it about 1/2 to 3/4 of the way with water, and you wait. It was cool to watch the roots come out, and eventually you would get the slips. You get sweet potatoes. But like I said to you earlier, I'm looking at these, and yes, these are organic, and these cost me, it was $4 and something. It was, I think it was a little bit under $5. I'll double check that, but I picked these up from Walmart a couple of days ago. So you can buy the slips, you can buy the actual potatoes, or you can buy organic. Why organic? Like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because you guys watched this video last year. I'll probably put a link to it if I remember. And organic because these growers, they treat their sweet potatoes with something called growth inhibitors, which is a fancy way of saying they don't want the sweet potatoes to sprout because the time they grow them and the time they ship them and the time that they sit on the shelves, if they start growing, people don't really want to buy them. They don't look attractive to them. So this is the best way that they can come up with, I guess, to keep the sweet potatoes from sprouting. Well, we want ours to sprout and we don't want the chemicals. So we put them in here, but the problem with that is pretty much every content creator that gardens will tell you change the water every 2 or 3 days. If you have fish or if you've ever had a fish tank, you'll understand why. Because that water is going to hit the sunlight and you're going to get algae. That algae is going to build up. That green slimy stuff is not good for your potatoes. So a couple of years ago, I switched from that to this. There are several reasons. Number one, this blocks the sun. Number two, I don't have to change the water every 2 or 3 days. And there's another little tidbit. People like to stick toothpicks in these to hold it up out the water. I don't know where that came from, but also unnecessary. like I said, you know, you can watch the video that I did last year, but you don't need toothpicks, and you can skip the algae, and it's going to take you about 6 to 8 weeks. I'm a little bit late getting these done. I should have had these ready to go and in the window 3 or 4 weeks ago, but that's okay. It is what it is. I've been busy, and it's not too late. Well, depending upon what zone you're in, I will still have slips, which means I will still have sweet potatoes. Now, there's a new wrinkle, something that I did not tell you guys this year, and that's the elephant in this room. This Epic water pitcher is a game changer for me because it takes out over 200 contaminants. This is something that was sent to me by the company. If you decide it's something that you're interested in, you'll get 15% off. There's a code that I'm going to put at the bottom of this video, because in my research, my recent research, a lot of the water, the tap water, city water, spigot water, has chlorine and it has fluoride, and the chlorine and fluoride in the tap water is not really good for your sweet potato slips. So I would advise you to at least try and get rainwater, because the rainwater doesn't have that, all that stuff in it, is not treated. Plus it does have some small nutrients in it. So yeah, I would definitely take the rainwater and maybe even set it overnight to use that, and eventually you're going to get the slips, same as here. But the reality is you're not going to have to keep changing this water over and over and over. And then there are going to be people, there's always one, who are going to say, you know, oh, this is plastic, it's unsafe. Well, if you don't feel comfortable using the plastic, then my suggestion to you is don't. But I've gone through this before, I've gone over this before. The short answer is yes, this plastic will decompose and it will eventually break down. But if you do your research, there's different types of plastic, and I'll be pushing up daisies long before this plastic breaks down. It's going to take between 400 and 600 years before this plastic becomes a problem. I will be a distant memory, if even that, by then. So again, I'm not telling you to ditch the jar. I'm telling you what I do. If you don't feel comfortable using plastic cups, then you can continue to use the jar. I mean, it's a personal preference, but that's my little wrap up in terms of my refresher, I guess you can say, on how you grow the sweet potato slips. And the rest, I think you guys probably already know. Again, it's on the other video. You pluck them off, you plant them, you get sweet potatoes. Okay, so we're going to get to this in a minute. Like I said, there's a lot going on, so I'm trying to hurry and get through this. The one thing that I want to talk to you guys about before I get to the end, and by the way, before I forget, I'm going to put a link to the website, like I promised, where you put in your zip code. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to give me your email address. You don't have to give them a pint of blood. You don't have to give me anything except for the information of what your zip code is. What will pop up will be a couple of different companies that provide water for your area. In my case, when I was living in the city, it was just one, that was American Water. If it's more than one, you'll know which one it is. You click on it and it will tell you which contaminants are in your water. It will tell you how many contaminants are in your water. It will give you all the information, so this will help you decide whether or not you want to continue using municipal water. This company here also has systems that you can attach to your house, attach under your sink. They have portable drinking bottles. It's a company I've been using for about 3 months now, so I'm really happy with them. So I'm going to give you the preview to the next video, which is the one I'm really excited about, and then I'll show you what's in the box. So I'm sure you've seen these a million times. These are 5-gallon food grade buckets. So for this project that we're going to do in the next video, so you probably want to subscribe if you haven't, hit the notification bell so you know when this video comes out. I'm going to try to get this video out on Thursday, but it takes a lot of work because I want to make sure that this is going to be something that's easy for you guys to do. A lot of people are struggling now with the cost of food, so there are going to be a lot of new people who are going to grow their own tomatoes this summer. This can be used for more than just tomatoes, by the way. But at any rate, this is a 5-gallon bucket. You're going to need 2 of these. You don't have to have the food grade bucket. Back to that again. If you don't feel comfortable using, they're just regular like orange Home Depot buckets or the blue Lowe's buckets, you can get a food grade bucket. I'm going to break down the cost of this in the next video. And you're going to need a bag of topsoil. You want enough topsoil to fill that 5-gallon bucket. Okay? Doesn't have to be this brand, doesn't have to be this company, but you definitely want enough to fill that. And going the wrong way. You also are going to need okay, here it is. You're going to need, hang on, a bag of compost. I mean, it's compost, cow manure. They kind of, in my opinion, it's not a whole lot of difference. But this is Black Cow. For a while, I wasn't able to find this. I'm not sure why. But I was able to pick up a bag of this yesterday. It does not have to be Black Cow. There's different brands. Some are more expensive, some are cheaper. You need a bag of this, you need a bucket, and you need the soil. And that's all I'm going to give you guys right now because I don't want you to guess at how I'm going to put this together because there are 2 more ingredients, I guess you can call them, that you're going to need to add to this in order to make this work. Really 3. So I'll give you the other 3. The next video, I'm giving you these 3 now because these are the biggest. This is the most you're going to have to get into place. Everything else is going to be relatively simple, relatively light, relatively easy. And we're going to put this thing together. We're going to get this set up. Remember now, you're going to have 2 of these containers. And like I said to you earlier, price-wise, I did the math, and it's going to come out to $22, roughly, depending upon which company you use, $22 a bucket. But keep in mind, you're going to get lots and lots of tomatoes out of each bucket. So it's going to be well worth it, especially when you see how much they're charging for tomatoes right now. So finally, time to show you guys what's in the box. So here it is. If you go back to when I first started this venture, when I first started putting together things like this bird feeder and this drip hose and this whole thing that was in my mind, everything has a purpose. There's a reason for everything that's here. And this is the bird bath. Obviously, it's going to look different when I put it together, but I did not have a bird bath before. And I picked this one because I like the color and because it was reasonable. I'm not, okay, this basically gives you the information, in case you wanted to get this type. I'm not being compensated. I'm not promoting this, but I happen to like this one. And now I had to figure out where exactly I want it to go. If you guys have any suggestions on where in this 40-foot space I should put this, I'm open for suggestions, because keep in mind, the next step for me is to get all this tilled. Yes, I'm waiting again for my neighbor. The original plan was to use this broad fork, and I realized A, it's labor intensive and time consuming. B, when the frugal daughter came through and tested my soil, and I realized the soil was worse than I thought, there is really no nutrient value in this soil. So it's not worth me going through all this. You can see where I started here, and there's the pitchfork. So it's just more efficient for me to use the tiller, which is on the fritz. So my neighbor came by yesterday. He's real handy. It took him like 2 minutes to tell me everything that was wrong with it. Yes, plural. There were lots of things I needed to have done to it, but because he's a good neighbor and he knows how to do this stuff, I'm supposed to have it back today. So there's going to be a lot of work going on here, because I need to start getting this stuff into the ground. After all, it is May. So besides this, I have one more thing coming. Actually, it's two of the same thing, and that will complete my vision for this mini food forest. And again, you know, this is part of the reason why I'm showing you guys these things, is because you might like some of these ideas. You might want to incorporate some of these into your garden. So there it is. That's it for today. And next video is going to be the tomatoes. I mean, I'm reluctant to say how many tomatoes you're going to get, but I will say probably way more than what you're normally used to getting. So I don't like making predictions or promises, but it worked for me last year. I got dozens and dozens of tomatoes, and I am improving on that process this year. So I hope you guys give it a try. Like I said, you know, you get yourself a 5-gallon bucket, something like this, something like this. You get your soil, and you get your compost, and from there, next week, we'll pick that up, and most of the video, if not all the video, is going to be about how to put this together and how to grow your tomatoes without a garden. So this is the other compost that I use. It tells you right there. It says compost, cow manure and compost. So this is about $1.50 cheaper, maybe $2 cheaper, depending upon where you shop. So you might want to pick this up instead of the Black Cow. But at any rate, I'm the Frugal Gardener. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. Remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a great day.